It's a foggy day today, still cold, not too cold, and not rainy. And right now, I am on this bike path going east, and this bike path is also the C2C trail, the Corvallis to C trail. And I'm not going all the way to the sea today, but I am following this path for a while. I'm stopping at the Dollar Tree. I need to get some hydration and also some carbohydrates. I've been really busy lately going out bicycling or on foot, you know, every couple days, and I've been constantly hungry, especially in this weather. So, time to get some cookies. Looks like we have some construction going on here. I'm back on the trail. I got a lot of food at the Dollar Tree. Only problem now is all in my backpack, so I have to eat and drink some of it so it isn't too heavy. So I'm gonna take a little snack break here and then continue on the way. And there's a crow. This is Newton Creek Park in Philomath, Oregon. I've been here before. And this path is Corvallis to Coast Trail, the C2C trail. But notice here it says we turn this way, and the trail for bicyclists just becomes the road. There's the bicycle lane, and then for pedestrians it will just be this sidewalk. And that's just as we go through Philomath, but it does kind of interrupt the experience a little. And as far as I can figure right now, through town, the bike lane along US 20/Oregon 34 is the C2C trail. There's the Philomath College building, now the Philomath Museum. We're still in Philomath, but we're about to get out of town, and then we're going to see some stuff that's maybe a little more interesting. A little bit past this light. So this is the junction, or the split. US 20 goes in this direction through Blodgett and on to Newport, and then to the left is the road to Waldport. And I'm going to be taking the road to the left, even though I'm not going all the way to Waldport today. This is the omnipresent Mary's River, and I'm crossing it to leave town. So from here, it's 18 miles to Alsea. Not that far on a good day in most cases, but the road is really windy, steep, and with a narrow shoulder. So that's a ride that I haven't planned on attempting, even though in terms of miles, it's not that far away. This is Old Peak Road, and I just confirmed by seeing this sign what I'd seen on a map before I came out here, that this is the C2C trail, Corvallis to Coast Trail. Notice that a lot of the intersections I just took, it's not marked or something. You really have to know the map before you go. And this is a quiet road, but a lot of bicyclists, I think at least, would be kind of nervous about a road with this narrow of a shoulder. So the trail, you have to know where it is, and you have to be prepared for it. This has not stopped to be a thing. Right now I'm on my bicycle, and this road I can still bicycle up it even when I'm feeling lazy. At a certain point I will probably get off my bicycle and just walk up the road because it'll get steeper. So I got off my bicycle and I'm walking it, and other bicyclists could maybe confirm or deny this, but for me, sometimes I'm on a pretty steep road, but because it's in the country and my mind kind of recognizes it as this is a, you know, recreational moment, this is a challenge, it doesn't feel as bad. Sometimes I'm just, you know, bicycling up a little slope in the city, and because there's cars and traffic, it feels a lot more exhausting. Also, there hasn't been any cars passing me, so all this road I have, and it's pretty good pavement, and I can tack on it, so that makes it less exhausting than if I was trying to bicycle in the gravel or dirt with a lot of noise. Be a lot more physical and mental stress. And in other news, right here we can see the lane dividing ends. So we're kind of out of the semi-suburban part of Philomath, and we're getting further into the woods. And I'll keep walking until I can see if my legs stop being oatmeal. Then I'll ride some more. On my bicycle, kind of hard to steer while holding the camera. I'm going really slow. So one thing about getting the energy is you get the energy back, but sometimes it feels like the hill just doesn't end. So, you know, going up and then walking for a while. This is actually not as steep as I remember it. Last time I was on here, it was 2 years ago. At the time, it felt really bad. Maybe I'm a better cyclist since then. Okay, I'm gonna do the smart thing and push me catch my rest. I'm still a pain tooth, and the last tooth of death. So here's a sign that we're getting close to the last residential part of this road. So this is a tree farm. Regrowing trees that were cut for timber. Those trees over there, that also looks like a tree farm, I'm not sure. But those trees are too close together to have grown naturally, and I think I see rows there. I'm not an expert though, might be wrong about that. So whether something like this makes the best or worst hiking trail, I guess that's a matter of opinion. As a bicyclist, I'm pretty happy with it. Wide paved road, but no traffic. Even though I'm walking along it now. On the other hand, not really a pristine natural area like this. So this is the point where the pavement ends, which can make things easier and harder. Easier because that means any drivers that are around will hopefully drive slower, naturally, even if they don't want to. Harder because gravel is harder to bicycle in. And apparently there's still some people who live up here. This is another thing that other bicyclists might agree or disagree with me about, is there's times when I am tired and there's times it's just my legs are tired. Right now, going up this hill, my legs have gotten tired. I've had to catch my breath, but I still have a lot of energy and want to go forward. But there are times where I'm just like, yep, I am out of energy. And today is not like that. To put this into perspective, like right now, I think I'm like 4 or 5 miles from where I left the highway in Philomath, which even going uphill, you know, walking or bicycling uphill, not exactly, you know, a journey to the end of the earth. And it's only a little bit before 3 p.m. So, you know, this is more of a jaunt than a voyage. But yeah, this can get tiring. Another sign that I'm on the right trail. Much like when I was on Dimple Hill, I don't actually know what I'm looking down there because perspective and distances can really be altered when you're on a twisty road like this. But I'm assuming that has to be Philomath. I don't know what else it could be. Okay, and now also 1-lane road ahead. You know, as I've gone up this hill, I keep on seeing signs, you know, that it's narrowing down, you know, that the school bus was our first, that the yellow line, the center line went away, then the school bus line went away, then the pavement went away. Now we're down to 1 lane only. Okay, I'm going to give it one last hurrah of trying to bicycle, difficult in the mud. Then I'll just, you know, walk, because I think I'm pretty close to where I want to be anyway. This is why maybe I should have thought the mountain will still be there tomorrow, not try to push it, because my chain got detached. So I'm going to try to reattach that, and then I'll just keep walking. The road is too muddy and too steep to get in gear, so to speak. So sometimes I'll reach a clearing, and I'll realize just how far I came. And also I'm still twisted. I don't really know what I'm looking at, except I expect that down here, this is where Highway 34 would be, somewhere down there. And I think I'm also getting pretty close to my destination. And also, the crisis was averted with my chain. So from here, I have a view down to this valley, and I'm not sure, like I said, it's really easy to get turned around when you're out in like gravel, Forest Service roads and stuff like that. I'm not sure, but I think this might be the valley of the Marys River, And that down there is the area around Alder and the Harris covered bridge that I went to when I was coming back from Blodgett. Take that with a grain of salt, because I don't really know where I am. And I hope I am still going where I think I'm going. So before checking on the map, I thought that where I was going was a lot further than it was. Then on the map it was closer, and now that I'm here, I feel it might be further. Also, it's 3:30, and it took me a while to get here, but I'm going uphill. I'm hoping that the return trip, which is mostly downhill, will be a lot quicker, because I do have limited daylight. I might turn around. I have to decide when to make that decision. So I'm very happy to see an impediment. This is the gate, and past here, this is an easement on private land and a permit is required. So one thing about me complaining about, this road isn't very scenic and stuff, a lot of people hiking the trail or bicycling the trail are not starting from there. They're probably going to drive up here and start the trip from here. And this goes through private land for a while, and it goes through some public land. And it also did have a sign about a water supply. By the way, there is a kiosk there, and I'm assuming the kiosk is public, so I'm going to go check out that kiosk. So yeah, there's various reasons this is protected. As you can see, not totally pristine, not wilderness. There's a road here. There is industrial activity here. But hey, I would love to be able to actually hike this, like its name says, Corvallis to coast. The map, it shows Oregon State University to, here's where Old Peak Road starts, just outside of Philomath, and then this is what we took. Here we are at the gate. So, and then there's a permit required part. Okay, so leave no trace. And that's down the road, but I was only checking out the kiosk. And this is the road back. Right now it's 3:40 p.m. Sun sets at like 5:15 p.m. and there's a little bit of light past then. The way down is mostly downhill, but there are some ups and downs as I cross the ridge, so it still is a little bit of effort. But really also, all I have to do is get back to Philomath, and even if I have to walk home, it'll be okay by then. Anyway, so I'm going to take a little snack and then head back down the road. So, time to go home before it gets dark, before it gets too cold, and before I bonk. And on the way up, I was worried about my chain. This time, I'll be worried about my brakes. So right now, I'm going up a hill. I have noticed that on the way up, I went downhill, and I was like, well, I'm gonna have to go up those when I go back. But now coming back, they're not as steep as I thought they were. It's pretty easy. Right now I'm walking, but I'm gonna jump on my bicycle, so I'm more optimistic at getting back. Sometimes when you're on a trip like this, it's hard to guess just how far up and down you're going, even if you can see it on a map. I think this trip had a total of 1,000 feet of elevation gain, or maybe that was the net. In any case, also, as I've said several times, a lot of times it's the uncertainty that gets you, because on the way up, it just seemed like, wow, this is going further than it should. Here's one more turn, here's one more slope. But now I know what it is, and even though it'll be difficult, I know what it is. So, as in so much, it's the uncertainty that causes problems. So I'm back on the pavement. It was pretty quick to get here. I will know how quick, and I'll say how quick when I get back to the highway. So one reason I took this is I wanted to show people who are bicyclists or hikers who are thinking of visiting the area, or maybe are in the area but don't know this Corvallis specifically, what it's like here. And even if they're not going on this specific trail, this is pretty common to what like country roads or Forest Service roads or something like that is. And one thing is like, this is not like a totally pristine natural area. This is, you know, a working forest, and, you know, so it's not like you're in like Glacier National Park. You know, there's houses here, there's cars, there's trucks. But on this road, like, I did not have to worry about traffic. I had a smooth ride and hike up. So yeah, it's a pretty good deal overall, I think. So on the way up, each time I passed a landmark as the road narrowed, like here, where the center line is disappearing, I felt like I was transporting into another world. The struggle was becoming more real. And here, I'm just zipping by them one by one, almost back to town. So I'm back on Oregon 34, and this was my time point. I started up a little bit after 2 p.m. and I got to the gate at about 3:45. Pretty long 90 minutes to get up there. And right now it's 4:24, dude. And I stopped and I, you know, took a couple videos on the way down, but it basically took me a little bit more than 20 minutes to get down, riding my brakes all the way. So I guess this is my lesson, is that uphill is harder than downhill. Basically Sherlock Holmes here. But also it's hard to describe subjectively how that feels, because when I was going up that road, every turn I felt I was like, wow, where is this road going? And on the way down, it just zipped down. And it's hard to explain that subjective feeling. Anyway, so I have a short way back into town, and I still have an hour till the sunset, so I'm doing pretty good. So I'm back in Philomath on the bike trail. Looks like there's some new housing going up there. Looks pretty new, at least. So one thing I was thinking about, and it really hasn't occurred to me in these words before, is that, you know, there's urban bicyclists and there's natural bicyclists. Right now I'm in the first group. When I lived in Montana, I was very much in the second group. I spent a lot of time on Forest Service roads. Really wish I had some videos of those days. Anyway, so this trail, it's kind of glued together from trails with different purposes. You know, and between Corvallis and Philomath, we have this really nice bike trail, and this is probably for urban cyclists, commuters, recreational cyclists, and then, you know, then when we go through Philomath, it's just a bike lane, and then we're going up this like narrow country road until we reach the gate. And that's where it's really for, you know, recreational bicyclists who want to be out in nature. So I think a lot of problems, such as they are with this trail, is it's kind of like taking pieces that were put together for different uses. And a lot of bicycle infrastructure in the United States is that way. It was put together at different times for different uses, for hobbyists, for commuters, etc. And, you know, you can work with it, but it does kind of sometimes have some flaws. Anyway, so that's my thought about bicycling and bicycle trails. And otherwise, I'm just going to go home and make up for some of these burnt calories. Back in Corvallis, sky is still light. Another thing is, I think I checked this trip before I went on it. 24 miles round trip, and on a lot of days I could knock out 24 miles and not even think about it. But you know, my trip to Suver on New Year's Day was longer, and on a day with less daylight. But you know, there was times, you know, when I was going up that hill towards the end where I was like, okay, I'm going to cancel all my plans for the next 2 weeks. This is enough exercise. I feel totally drained. And now I feel I've recovered, but yeah, this is a little bit longer than an average 24-mile trip.